Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to a Luthier's Teardown giveaway. This guitar could be yours, check out the link in the description below. Today I have got something that I've been avoiding because of all of the hype, and then I thought, well, you know, there's probably something behind all of the hype. I've got the PRS SE Silver Sky because, well, I wanted to see what makes it tick. Are they as good as people think they are? And probably. Now, this is still a relatively budget guitar, and at some point we're going to get the US made version in as well to have a good old gander, but pretty much any guitar under £1,000 retail will, I am almost certain, have some serious issues, predominantly with fretting and setup. And I'm going to take this apart, see how it's made, see why it's made, see what's wrong with it, see what's not, and well, welcome to the journey. So here we go. Now, obviously this is a budget version of the John Mayer signature model, and according to a lot of the YouTube videos out there, there's very little difference between them. And we do have some very, very cool features. Obviously, bird inlays. We've got these solid encased plastic tuner heads. There's nothing holding those on, so if they ever break, that's it. You're replacing the tuners. Bolt-on neck. We've got the PRS carve. Everything's contoured and nice and comfortable, and of course it is Strat-based. I love this jack plate. I think that this jack plate should be in the design museum. It's just so much nicer than the pressed rubbish that we normally get. We've got a twin pivot trem system. That's probably not, well, this is where the budget comes in, I think. And the electronics are probably relatively cheap or relatively cheaply done. Finish, nice, thick, beautiful. We've got cool, better than average strap buttons. Let's turn her over and have a look at this neck plate. This is brand new, straight out of the shop. That there looks very chunky, but from a player's point of view, it's actually very, very comfortable. Your back plate is not inlaid, which is fine, fairly standard plastic, but we've got everything here. We've got everything here that we want. We really do. All of the carves, all of the contours. The neck is very comfortable. It is a scarfed on neck joint. The grain here actually seems to match up almost, which is quite cool, but you've got a scarf there. And that's a fairly weird shape on this one. I can actually see where they've gone in and they've sanded away that area. It's a pity we don't have a volute. It's not necessarily. This beautiful finish is the stone blue, which is my personal favorite of the SE range at the moment. The neck is actually quite fun. This is John Mayer's. This SE version has the same neck carve as the John Mayer guitar. There is some variation. I can feel, for example, where they've sanded down that dot, I can feel that, but it is intensely comfortable. And the fretboard radius is strange to me, strange in a good way. It's 8.5 inches. The Silver Sky is 7.25, I think, but this feels a little bit more modern, and I really like it. Really like it. That is just very pleasing. Okay, so out of the box, we've got a pretty good action. 1.25 millimeters on the treble, 1.5 on the bass. It's not bad. There's very little relief there. It's well set up. Now, I'm not sure if the shop that I got this from, Music Radar in Salisbury, have gone to the trouble of setting this up and doing all of this. I sincerely doubt it. Most guitar shops say that they do. Most of them don't. in our experience. But if they haven't, this is impressive, genuinely. So here we go, hold it down at the 3rd fret, tap it down. I've got very even nut work. It's perfect. This is, I don't need to change the setup of this guitar. Ooh, look at those knobs. Yeah, every single one of those is on at a funny angle. Let's sort out this intonation first, or check it at least. Volume helps. This genuinely feels like somebody who cares has gone in and set the intonation, whether that was a shop or the factory in Indonesia. Built by Cortec Musical Instrument Co. Limited, Indonesia, under license for PRS guitars. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Except for the headstock. I don't like the headstock much. It's sort of a reverse PRS, amorphous. I don't know, I don't like that, but yeah, that's me. I'm weird. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to take the strings off, take everything apart. We're going to look inside, see what we've got, and that is going to be edited super fast because these things can get boring. We will stop, slow down, and talk about anything interesting that we find those. So, yeah. So it's got a few too many winds on there, and we will, of course, put a new set of 10s on. Now, as I'm taking these strings off, I'm noticing for the first time this nut. A pet hate for me is these corners of the nut where the soft part of your hand gets eaten away by sharp corners and sharp edges. And this has been rounded over to absolute perfection. It is incredibly comfortable. These tuners they really are budget. From the plating to the inserts, it feels cheap. But you know, the action is fine. They work well for now. But that nut's something else. If you do this, you need to stop. Just stop. People who tie a knot in the string in the end, there is absolutely no point in doing it. All it does is complicate matters. It's not required. Well, let's look at this bass string because it's the most obvious. They go through, they've got this weird knot thing going on, and it doesn't actually, you've got, I mean, that one had less tuning stability due to the sheer amount of winds than anything else. But it just means that I'm having to now fiddle around and potentially poke myself, there you go, and or scratch the headstock, and I don't want to do that. I can't believe I like a plastic truss rod. This is John Mayer is a watch fan, and he did a Casio G-Shock with this sort of muted greys and stuff. So we've got a truss rod with a fillet on the top. That looks like, I need to read some specs. Do we have a single action truss rod in here? Because that's what it looks like. Also, I don't actually have a washer behind the nut here. So if we tighten that truss rod up, it's going to be tightening against wood and chewing it away as you tighten. That's a nasty looking thing. Nope, I was wrong. It's just ugly. It is a PRS double action or dual action truss rod. They've routed all the way through, put the rod down, and then they've had to glue that little fillet on the front to hide it, and that's fine. Various smudges and dirty bits here. In fact, there's a fingerprint. There's a fingerprint from the factory underneath the truss rod cover. So yeah, whoever put these strings on was dirty. There we go. Josh is laughing in the background. I don't know. How else do you say they didn't wash their hands? Where's the crimson cleaner and restorative? I just need the cleaner. Okay, so we've got a 25.5-inch scale. Oh, would you look at that? So I was just randomly fiddling around with the truss rod to see if it would, what it was doing, and I managed to adjust the neck to absolute perfectly straight. Like absolute, total, 100% perfection. There was this whole thing, I was going to focus on the truss rod key, the Allen key, and the stuff, and get you some beautiful shots, and that's just pointless now. Anyway, this is the real thing. So we've got a perfectly straight neck. Oh, I've immediately got a rock, so that's high there, or that's low there. We'll see. Well, there we go. I was hoping to be able to say we've got perfect frets, but we absolutely don't. So yet again, we've got a sub £1,000 guitar with fret issues. Now, they do seem to be very well seated. And the other thing is, as you can probably see in this shot here, these fret ends are supremely well polished, like genuinely well done. So more so than the tops of the frets in that case. Very pretty. So how this works is your fret rocker, if you've got a high fret in the middle, it goes over 3 frets. If you've got a high fret in the middle or a low fret at either end, it will rock, and you can hear that. And you can use that to diagnose issues. So there's problems all the way down here. We're going to take the neck off, and Sofia, over in that corner, hi Sofia, you're going to be doing a level crown and polish again. Yay. I'm going to open the guitar up and see what's inside, and then Sofia will put it back together again and check it out. And I will move on to the next part of my day, which, yes, I'm going to be buying some more guitars. I really like this neck plate. Yeah, I like it a lot. And that neck just comes in and out with absolutely zero effort. Yeah, that is a neck pocket that wouldn't pass quality control here. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Lovely little crimson feeler gauge. Well, it started the biggest, which is 3/4 of a millimeter, 0.3 of an inch. No, a little bit overkill. 0.25 inch. Oh, look at that, I'm judging this a little bit too high. 0.5 millimeter then. And that's about it. With the average being, yeah, so that's easy. That is a 0.16 of an inch and a 0.4 millimeter gap. And this is a brand new set of feeler gauges because I didn't have my own set here. Okay, so, well, that's that. And now let's look at this neck pocket, shall we? Now, genuinely, it doesn't matter that the end of the neck isn't connecting with wood. I sort of have a little bit of a problem that this neck pocket is only really connecting maybe on one side and at the bottom. We also have rather a lot of sawdust just everywhere. But hey. So of course the jack wire is as short as humanly possible. They saved 1/10 of a cent on making my life more difficult. I think I'm going to have to now desolder the jack in order to take the scratch plate off. Oh no. Oh, that's interesting. I do love this. Oh, hey baby, look at that. They actually care. So here's some leather to keep things all nice and protected. And I found out what that issue on the side of that was. It's shielding paint. Look at that. So they actually shielded the entire cavity and of course managed to spooge some all the way over the edge. Now I think that's on purpose. I think that what we've got here is some shielding paint going up over the edge of the cavity that is designed to touch and connect with the shielding tape on the front here and thus create a homogeneous Faraday cage surrounding the whole thing. It's cool. They've thought about it, but they've obviously spooged far too much, and it's gone onto the edge of the scratch plate here. Now, on top of that, we've got some coolness going on with these pickups. So yeah, the pickups have got your standard pole pieces, which we all expect, and in between, there's 5 smaller sections, and I'm not entirely sure what those are. You don't normally see quite so much going on the back of pickups. Let me know in the comments. The wiring, we've got alpha pots, we've got standard ceramic caps. I can't see anything particularly special going on here. 5-way switch. It's actually not bad, and of course it's been QC inspected. Now, this shielding tape here, that's interesting. Okay. So I'm going to assume that the glue that they've used on this shielding tape is conductive itself. What they've got is the tape going and joining the screws that are holding the pickups down, and then joining itself to the aluminium tape on the background here, which is fine. If, however, the glue holding that onto the front of the aluminium is not conductive, then it's all pointless. But you can get conductive glue. It's amazing. I'm genuinely impressed by how much trouble they've gone to shield this cavity and to think about noise. It's not what I was expecting. I do have some cleaning up to do now, though. Yeah, looking at this, what they should have done is painted shielding paint over this area here, which would connect with the copper and then, you know, lock the whole thing together. That would have been less problematic than that option. Okay, so I can't get that off. I'm just going to scrape a little bit of the bevel. Perfect. Absolutely clean. And now it's time to put this back together again, because there is nothing we need to do in here. It's genuinely an impressive, a very, very impressive, of course I've trapped a wire, very, very impressive little thing. Curse you, tiny wire. Out the way. Haha, success. Quick, screw it down. Haha. I don't know why I enjoyed that quite so much. Okay, that's all back together. I'm just going to have a quick look inside here. I'm not expecting any major surprises. More sawdust. So yeah, I mean it is what it is. Nice big block, 4 springs. It's a little bit messy, but in the end, as a musician, you don't necessarily worry about dust inside the guitar, now do you?